Hey class, welcome back to music. Today we're going to As I was saying, today we're going to be learning about, and I think you might be able to guess what that is, the Gombeys. We are going to be looking at the Gombeys and getting an introduction into what the Gombeys is all about. But more specifically, we're going to be learning to appreciate and understand Gombey rhythms. Now, I know that a lot of you, some of my students, are like professional Gombey players. You guys know the rhythms like the back of your head. And you guys could teach me a few things. And that's awesome. So we're going to see if we could even learn some more. Some of the history perhaps. Some of the things that are incorporated behind Gombeys and the rhythms and the instruments involved. So to help me explain this is a good friend of mine and a professional drummer, well-known drummer in Bermuda. His name is Teacher Dwight. He knows a lot about Gombey drumming, and he's going to help us to understand a little bit more about it. He's going to help answer questions like, what is Gombeys? What does the word mean? I want you to pay close attention to everything he says, because I'm going to be asking you questions that he's going to have all the answers to. Okay, so I want you to pay close attention, and at the end, you're going to get a list of questions, and I want you to be able to answer them. So listen as Teacher Dwight explains about the Gombeys.
Hello, good day everybody. My name is Teacher Dwight. I'm a good friend of Teacher Henry, and he asked me to, if I would give you kind of like a general introduction to the Gombeys, the meaning of the Gombeys. And of course I said, yes, I'm honored to be here. Sorry I can't be at the school with you, bring my band, etc. But here we go. Now, the Gombey, the word Gombey is cousin to the word Gombey, which is from Bahamas, and it means rhythm or drum. That's why the Gombeys have so many drummers, and it's all rhythm. It doesn't have a guitar player, doesn't have a piano player, trumpet, sax, it's just drums. It's just rhythm and dance. Okay? Now, the drummer's responsibility is the soul of celebration. What happened was there's a dark side to the Gombey. The Gombeys was developed by slaves that were brought here to Bermuda by way of the Caribbean or Africa. And what happened was they weren't allowed to exercise in these kinds of things for fear of escaping. So what they did was they danced and they celebrated, and they were allowed to dance and celebrate. So hence we got the Gombey. Over time, it developed into a thing where everybody would celebrate. So the cultures, you had the Africans, you had the people from the different parts of the Caribbean, and then you have a just very slight British influence. And the British influence is how the Gombeys, when they stand up, they have the strap and the drum. So it's like a military style of playing. So that's the British side of it. But all the rest is pretty much the Gombeys are a celebration of freedom. And also, it was kind of like the gospel of the times, because they were just celebrated and gave thanks to God and whoever, you know, of their preference. But then the other side of it is the dancers were freedom dancers. So when you see the Gombey doing and jumping and springing, he's celebrating that the fact that they're no longer in chains or shackles. It's a celebration of freedom. That's what the Gombeys, that's where it all came from. And it was around the late 18th century, early 19th century. Now, the dancers have a role, and the drummers have a role. The dancers are the visual and expressive side of the celebration. And the drummers are the soul, what's internal, kind of like the heartbeat of it all, which, you know. Well, it was just a straight pulse, which turned into. And this is a big drum, and this is the bass drum. That's the big one on the bottom. Now, the bass drum was usually held by the big guy. He was a bigger guy because he'd have to hold it and pound it. Boom, 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 boom. And then you have the snare drum. Now, this drum is the only drum in the drum set. I'll bring it a little closer. This is called a snare, okay? Oh. If the drum doesn't do that, with these wire brushes, these wires that hit the drum, that vibrate, if it doesn't do that, it's not a snare drum. So it's a snare drum and a bass drum. That's what the Gombeys comprise of. 2 drums, snare drum and bass drum. So what I am attempting to do right now is I'm gonna show you the different parts. So, of course, the bass drum, straight playing. That's all he did. If it was faster, that's the bass drum. Why the bass drum? Because it has a deep voice. Like in the choir, you got your altos, your sopranos, your tenors, and you have your bass. So this is the bass drum, down low. Now you have your snare drum. And this is your rim on the side, the metal part on the side. So the bass drum is a pulse. Now, is a Gombey, they say a Gombey troop, because you usually have about 5 drummers. You would have 2 drummers just doing this. And that's the British style that they, you know, that they talk about. And then you have another two other drummers that will be playing. Okay, and that's the basis of the Gombey cigar. And now, then you have the guy, it's called a solo, which means a single person by yourself, singing a solo, dancing solo. Okay, his job is to keep his eye on the Gombey dancers, so whenever they would do a kick or jump or leap, he would hit the drum. It's called the rim. He would do that. So the dance, and then he would, if the dancer kicks, he'll do that. Okay, try it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm chill. Okay, so any movement they do, his job is to hit that rim. Okay, so you got. Then you got the solo guy. So now, before I go there, you know when they chant, they say, put your hand behind it. Ayo, ayo. That is a replication of the chant that they used to do. So the ayo is the chant. That's the Gombey chant. That's the chant. We have like the crowds of the people. That was the slaves. That's what they were, the slaves. They were out celebrating. And you only saw the Gombeys back in the day on Boxing Day and New Year's Day, because literature tells us that back in the day, those are the only 2 days that the slaves, or if you read it in the literature, they'll say bonded citizens, were free. They didn't have to work those 2 days, and that's why they saw them. But as the years went by, we did it according to our celebrations, like 24th of May or any other type of celebration. you know what I mean, around City Hall, have a big competition. And the Gombeys used to comprise of families. So we had two main families, the Warner family and the Hendrickson family. Those are the two families that I know in my era. So we got the chanting, hey, oh, that's a celebration. And the dancing is dang, 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 and the jumping and all that, that's just Jubilee. So here we go. Hence, the Gombey. Now, oh, just like if you're on your moped, you don't just get on your bike and go up the road. You take your time and get up to speed. So it starts off like a train. It's like a warning to the... Gotta get fast. That's the basic beat. Now the solo drummer is waiting for the dancers to start, and when you hear the, you know that the dancers are kicking or spinning or doing something. So we'll take it off. That's the beat. Now I'm gonna just show you something real quick. I just happened to earn a authentic Warner family Gombey cape. Now these capes are very colorful. As you can see, you see the face, the smiling face because of the excitement and the jubilee of not being in shackles and chains. And the colors are festive for the celebration. A lot of ribbons and just trinkets. And what happens, they say that all the different families, something in each cape was relative to the other cape. So they put something in the embroidery that lets you know, you can say, oh yeah, that's a Warner, or that's a Hendrickson, or that's a da-da-da, or do-do-do. Yeah? Okay? So hence, that's the Gombey. So it was a pleasure to meet you guys. I hope to come to the school and see you someday.
Did you guys enjoy that? Thanks very much, Teacher Dwight, for that awesome lesson. We learned a lot today about the Gombey drums and rhythms and how everything works. I've been listening carefully, and I hope you were listening carefully, and I was actually taking down some questions. And I want to know if you could tell me the answer to some of these questions. And you know what? I was going to ask them now, but I think what I'll do is I'm going to put these in the Google Drive, and you guys will go ahead and fill out the quiz that I put in there, and you guys will turn that into me. Okay? Now also, I would like you, if you could get a chance, go online. I want you to look up Gombeys, and I want you to try and, listen to it, watch the dancers, watch the movements, and I want to see if you could, try to learn some of the movements if you don't already know, because I know a lot of you know it already. And next week, we're going to spend more time focusing more on the movements, okay? Now, I want you to enjoy this assignment. I want you to enjoy this month as it's our Heritage Month. And I want you to just enjoy everything around you. Enjoy everything that Bermuda has to offer throughout this month. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys soon.